Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is ThatChurch TechGuy, and today we're going to start a new series called The Basics of Church Sound. This is part one of that series, which is the basics of gain staging and how to gain stage all your channels. So let's jump right in. Today we're going to learn about gain staging and gain structure. Gain staging is pretty much having all your channels gained correctly so that when you're mixing, when people are listening, that you have consistency. Proper gain staging will give you flexibility in your mix, and it will also help you throughout the entire rest of the mixing process. It will help you create better sounding mixes. We're on a Behringer X32. Thank you very much to Journey Arts Collective and Journey Church for allowing me to come in and train you guys on this X32 console. So there's only one gain section. This gain section is a parameter for whatever channel you have selected. So on the X32, there is select buttons to select different channels, and throughout those different channels, you have different gain settings that you can change based on what setting or what channel you have selected. So I've got my channel selected here, and it pulls up the gain and preamp settings for that channel. In here, real quick, it's pretty simple. You have your gain. You have phantom power if you have a mic that needs phantom power. You also have a phase invert. You have your meter. This is important to see how much signal you're actually getting into. This is the input signal to the console. It's telling you how much is coming in. And then finally, you have a low cut filter. This is a low cut, so this will cut out anything below your selected frequency at a particular graph. This view button, this will allow you to view all of your config and preamp settings over in the display. So that's the little intro of what that is on this Behringer X32 console. Now the concept is to make sure when you're sound checking that you are getting the right level that you want to be able to mix with for each individual channel. So on the input side, and then all through your dynamics and through your EQ, you want to make sure the gain's set properly. So this is your first step, is making sure this is set properly. This isn't the best display because it's just, I forget the term, but it's just a few LEDs. So you don't have very accurate monitoring on that meter. But you at least get enough to work with. You want to be somewhere around -18, -12, but when you start hitting any further above that, once you're getting into the yellow more, you want to just be careful about that. This is bad. This is way too hot, especially with me just talking right now, and this means I'm overloading this preamp. I'm going to get distortion, and it's not going to sound pretty for anybody. It's going to be impossible to mix with this. Another tip, if your gain on this knob is much further past this point, then you're going to want to try to talk to the instrumentalist to try to get more signal. So if this was a piano signal and I wasn't getting much still here and I needed to boost it even further, I would talk to that piano player and say, hey, can you give me a little more volume? Can you make sure your volume's turned to like 75% or so, or whatever they need to do to get you more volume. If it's a guitar player, maybe a little more output gain through whatever they're running through. You don't normally want to push a preamp even this far. I'm at 70, almost 80%. You normally don't even want to push a preamp this far, because once you push these gain knobs pretty hard, you're gonna lose some fidelity. You're gonna lose some sound the more you push that, and you're gonna get a higher noise floor. You're gonna get buzz and low hums, stuff that you don't want to try to work with and mix with. Whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that the person is playing or singing or talking at the volume that they're going to be when they're actually performing or speaking. If you set the gain one level and someone's a totally different level when they're rehearsing and playing, you're going to run into some problems later on, and it's going to cause some difficulties. So make sure vocalists are singing during sound check. This is something you can do your best to control, but you can't really control that vocalists will sing quieter when they're just sound checking by themselves. It's harder for some people to do that. The biggest problem in churches and in events that I find is people aren't pushing gain enough. So this is just so little coming in out of the system, and you're not able to really mix with the faders properly. For vocalists, it is okay to set gain a little lower than what you typically would, because they're going to be singing a lot hotter later on when there's instruments around them, when there's other vocalists, when they have more confidence, when they're more warmed up. There's a lot of things that go into that. So I would not boost a vocalist and set them to a high gain point from the get-go during sound check. So that's the first part of gain staging, is setting the initial gain for each channel to make sure you have a good amount of volume. The next stage of gain staging is actually in your compressor. Your compressor has an output gain, because when you compress a signal, there's going to be gain that you're going to have to make up. And you want to make sure you have that set correct. We're going to do more on that in part 3 of this series when we talk about compression. But just be aware that there is a gain knob in your compressor. So I hope this basic overview of gain staging has helped. We're going to get more into it in the next videos. Another thanks to Journey Church and Journey Arts Collective for helping me out and make this video possible. So if there was more that you want to know more about, or maybe have an idea for another video, please do comment. I hope I was a help to you, and I hope you got something out of this video. Thank you for what you do week in and week out at your churches, volunteering, serving, and really making church a reality every week. Video 2 is going to be the basics of EQ and how to use EQ to make your mixes better. So I will see you guys in the next video.